record. All right. We are recording everywhere now.
Hopefully with the correct mics and stuff.
Yeah, I just double checked. Yep, we're good.
Right.
I just had to look at a desk. I was like, just to make sure. Not my webcam mic.
All right, everything is open here. Yeah. At least I hope so. All right. On this episode of This Is Game Boy, two in the box, ready to go. We be fast, they be slow. There we go. Don't add that last part. That was just me saying there we go.
Bum bum bum. Do. What is that from?
What?
Not our song, but the intro. The two
From Ghostbusters 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
What part?
I don't know, man. Some part.
You're supposed to know this stuff.
I haven't seen the movie in a long time. So
I haven't either, actually.
I don't know.
A
long time is, in a few years at least. But
whatever. I was just thinking about it the other day, actually. I saw the first one semi-recently. Alright. Well, it's your intro, so you keep going.
Yeah, I know. Jesus.
We're rusty.
Yeah.
It's been a month.
Something like that for sure. Yeah. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome back to a brand new episode of This Is Game Boy. Everybody in chat who is watching live, hello there. I just waved for people not watching. Or if you're looking at the video.
Then we watch it on YouTube, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, we're back after a while. I don't even remember which episode we did last time, to be perfectly honest.
It was Turtles 2.
Yeah, it was a Turtles episode. Yeah, that was a good one. But yeah, we're back. We had a bit of technical difficulties. First with the light, because Lex's laptop literally blew up.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of technical issues recently.
Yeah, your internet was gone, so our schedule is a little bit weird right now, but again, when they come out, they will come out. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. Usually there's still 2 a month, so that we try to keep doing that.
Can't fix a laptop exploded, and can't fix Comcast being Comcast, so...
Yeah. So yeah, you would think that we've been up to a lot, but in my case, I have totally not been up to a lot, due to all of these heat waves that we're having. I cannot spend any time in my room where my computer is or my consoles are, so I haven't really done much, so I'll just start saying what I've been doing. I've been playing Hollow Knight.
I need to play that game still.
Yeah, that is literally all I've been doing. I had played it before on Switch. I think I bought it on Switch, probably. I don't even know how else I would have played it on Switch. But it was also for free on PS4 like months ago, maybe even a year ago. So I started playing that version because I never really completed the game and the DLC. So I'm trying to do that. I'm at 109% out of 112. It's not easy. It's definitely one of the hardest games ever. But yeah, it will work out in the end, but I think it will take me another 10 hours to beat the final challenges in the game. Hopefully not, but yeah.
Hollow Knight's a game I've been wanting to play for a long time, and I just never got around to it.
Yeah, I think I reviewed it the last time I played it on the podcast as well. I think it's a great game. It's a very challenging game. I just think that everything looks the same. That's my only gripe with it. But besides that, it's you would say perfectly balanced, and it is, but it's it's a really hard game. It's not your typical easy Metroid-like. It's really really hard if you don't know what you're doing. So you definitely need to practice the game. But it's fun. It's a really fun game. So yeah, that's everything I've been saying. I've been doing. I've been saying as well, because now I'm gonna stop talking because it's your it's your turn to say what you've been up to.
We gotta get you to play Salt and Sanctuary sometime.
No, no, that's not a game for me.
I like Salt and Sanctuary. It might be one of my I don't like Souls games, but that might be like my favorite Souls like game. Yeah, I've been recently up to WoW Classic. Pre-patch for Wrath of Lich King comes out on Tuesday, so after this episode is released, or before this episode gets released, and then Wrath of Lich King Classic comes out the final week of September. So I will be back at that grind again. Can't wait. What else? Oh, the new Saints Row game. Yep, been halfway through that game. It's a game. It's exceptionally mediocre. They took out all of the Saints Row humor that it once had. Yeah, it's just the story, and the storyline is even better. I won't spoil it, but it's just as good. But I don't know. Went into the game with low expectations, and I'm glad I did. Let's just say that. I also been playing Forza 5. Every once in a while I get a kick to play racing games, and when I have the Xbox Game Pass, I have access to some of the games now. And I was like, oh, let's check out Forza. I haven't played a Forza game since Forza 2, so Forza 5 was quite the experience. Let's say that compared to Forza 2, but Forza 5 was a lot of fun. I drive around in my RX-7 and my Ford Focus quite a bit, so. After that, I've been playing Trek to Yomi, which is a Devolver Digital Publisher game. It's actually a pretty interesting game. It's a 2D-ish. If you've ever played like Assassin's Creed Chronicle games, like China, Russia, or India, it's a very similar playstyle to that in terms of like how the camera pans with you. But it's a black and white game with film grained, and you're a samurai, so it's just a bunch of samurai stuff without anything too crazy to it. It's actually a super fun game. Pretty good story as well. I tried to play Dishonored 1, hate it. Absolutely hate the game. Think it's just the dumbest game in the world. You're supposed to be stealthy, and you get benefits from being stealthy. But the stealth element in Dishonored 1 is just not fun at all. I'd rather just go run and gun in and just watch the rats eat the dead bodies. Like, it's just so much easier and more fun that way. It is. Like, the game is just boring to me. What else? Oh, so Speed Gaming Live is putting on a bunch of tournaments for their Speed Gaming Live stuff coming up in October, I think it is. And they have a bunch of tournaments happening this time around, both online and in person. And one of them was a Kirby's Dream Land tournament. So we are in the process of doing qualifiers for seeding for KDO right now. So I had my first 3 sets of qualifier races on Friday. And not having played the game in 2-3 years, nor speed ran the game in 2 or 3 years. I contended with the best of them, so I was pretty happy with that. I think right now I'm a 4th seed right now, so which I'll take.
You played it a lot, so or speed ran
a
lot, so
I played it for 5 years.
Yeah, it does stay with you. It's like the same when I pick back up Darkwing Duck again. It's like the first 5 attempts maybe are trying to get back in the groove, but afterwards it's like, oh yeah, I remember how to do this.
Yeah, that's how Friday was. It was like the first run was like, I remember the motions, but they weren't like perfect. And then the second run was just a hot dumpster garbage. I was like, oh, I literally just forgot everything. And the third one was full muscle memory. I remembered everything. And yeah, it's fun. It was a good time. So We'll
Yeah, I'm never doing that again.
I
Like
don't
after
mind.
last time, I'm never doing KDL again. I got such bad RNG. I was
Well,
like, no.
that's what makes it fun because like we have some of the runners that are trying to do the RNG manip. Then you have runners like me who are just old school and just try and run through it as fast as you can with it.
Yeah.
So like now we have like the OG people, that don't do the RNG manip. So you got like me and a few other people. Then you have like the new runners of KDL who do the RNG manip, and like that's all they do. So if they lose it, they reset. So now he put
All
both
right.
of us in a race element, and it's actually kind of fun. Because like at that point, it's like, well, you lost your RNG minute, but you can't reset the race. Like, what are you gonna do? Like hope
Yeah, you have to be
hope
on
you
your toes,
know
and
hope you know the
yeah.
rest of the game now. So meanwhile, like us, like the old runners, like that's just what we're used to. So it's fun. It's a fun element right now, just because like a bunch of old people did come back for the qualifier stuff. So um, that's been
That is cool.
interesting. Yeah. So there's a bunch of tournaments they got going on there. They got like a Super Metroid one. They got some randomizers one. There's a ton of tournaments. It's kind of insane. So and they're all getting re-streamed and whatnot. Like we were on Speed Gaming 2 Friday night, so it's
Right,
fun.
right.
It's cool. Beyond that, excuse me. Beyond that, nothing too crazy. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Nothing to look forward to, really. So, I played. I haven't played Shin Chan yet, unfortunately, on the Switch. I have it. I
Right, yeah.
haven't played it yet. I was gonna play it last week and I had internet issues. But I haven't played the new Shin Chan on Switch yet. I'm looking forward to it though. But I did play the new Kirby buffet game, and let me tell you something. That game is adorable. Like that game is super cute. So you can play online or local. Think of like think of Fall Guys, how you have to like cross the finish line and stuff like that. Like there's a bunch of like little
Yeah.
games and stuff. It's very similar, where like instead of crossing the finish line to become first, it's how much food can you eat. So it's how fat can you get Kirby, and it's adorable. It's so cute.
I haven't checked that out. I don't think I will like it anyways. I'm really not into
It's definitely a
these
game I
kind of.
wouldn't just like sit and play for hours, but it's definitely a game I would just like if I was at an airport or like waiting for something. I would definitely play it during then, but it's something I wouldn't play just like sitting here for hours on end.
Yeah, yeah. I've never checked out these like Kirby mini games, I guess you can call them. Uh, I know there's like a bunch of them, but
There are a
they
lot of
haven't
them now.
really. Yeah, I don't know. It was fun when those things were in the game,
Yeah,
uh, like the mini games in. I keep saying Fun Pack because I keep forgetting the
the
English name.
superstar. Yeah,
Yeah, Superstar. Like those mini games are fun because they're in the whole package and they're just like a change of pace, I guess,
it's like Star
for the
Allies
rest of the
too,
game.
right? Because you had like the
Yeah,
fighting and whatnot in Star Allies as well.
yeah. Oh, so that I like, but really a separate game,
Yeah,
mini game. I don't know. I really don't care.
there's a lot to it too, and if you have previous Kirby games saved to your Switch, it sees that and it gives you like gifts and stuff like that based off of that too. So like it saw that I had Star
Right.
Allies and Forgotten Lands. It's like here's some free stuff. Thank you for playing Kirby games. It's like that's cool. So
Yeah, it's nice.
yeah. And apparently you get some stuff in Forgotten Lands for having Dream Buffet, but I haven't played Forgotten Lands since I beaten it. So
Yeah, I completed that game, so why
yeah,
would I
yeah.
like at this point go back to it like I will in the future, but like right now, no.
I beat it. So I'm just like I don't want to play it right
Right,
now.
right.
Maybe some other time, but it's a good game. But
It's an amazing game.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely top three Kirby games for me. But yeah, I think that's it. I think there's no new
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed this year, so I can't look forward to that. Although Assassin's Creed 1 might get remade, and I'd be pretty stoked on that. So
Yeah. I'll pass.
yeah, not
I'm
for
not looking
everyone.
forward to any game really. I guess the Turtles collection, which should be out around this time.
Yeah. I never pre-ordered my Turtles collection, so
Around, yeah, I thought it was the end of August, but whatever. Like, we'll see when it gets out. Apparently, I disconnected again, but
you're back again. You froze for a second.
yeah, weird stuff. I don't know what's going on, but
It's not Belgium internet now. It's the Belgium Comcast now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, beyond that, I guess I've been reading a lot. So I just finished Killing Joke. I literally just finished Batman Black Mirror, and now I'm gonna start Batman Year One. So, been doing a lot of Batman reading recently.
Yeah, I haven't even been able to do that much here because, like, again, I read in my room and I had to have the windows, well, the curtains and the blinds closed, so I wasn't gonna sit under a reading light for a comic. Yeah, I don't really like doing that for a comic. I'd rather have sunlight to read it. But I did finish, like, a Stephen King book, and now I started on the Dead Zone.
Oh, nice.
Love that movie. Also watched the series a bit when I was younger. I don't remember much of it.
I just recently my most recent Stephen King book was Doctor Sleep, and I just recently watched that movie, which is like the sequel to The Shining. Movie's awful. Book is really good. Movie's awful.
For me, it's the other way around.
Really?
Dr. Sleep is one of the worst books I've ever read from Stephen King.
I liked the book. I hated the movie. I thought the movie was dumb.
I love the movie. Yeah. Well.
Well, there's that.
There's that, yeah.
We can all agree Carrie is the best movie, though, so...
I wouldn't say that, but... It's a good movie for sure, but I wouldn't say it's the best one. And I keep getting stuff in my eye, which is bothering me. Whatever.
Just wear glasses.
What am I wearing? Come on.
Alright, I think that's actually it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been up to a decent amount. It's mostly because, like, our heat wave finally ended, so I can actually do stuff again.
Yeah, 3 days ago was the last one. Hopefully, because they said it can still go on until the end of September, but temperatures are looking normal now, so I can finally stream again, maybe, because it's been a month. I think I've streamed twice on 2 days where it wasn't like 30 degrees. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just streaming again at least. But I also start work again on Thursday, so
that's exciting.
There goes that time again. So I'll have to figure something out.
Hey, no, at least you got work again. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, so yeah, we're gonna take a short break. Wow, it's a 20-minute intro. Nice. We're gonna take a quick short break here, and when we come back, we are going to, charge our proton packs and dive into this month's game, which is Ghostbusters 2. I don't have any of the Zofer stuff open because I'm dumb.
Also, hey, Infinite Mystery.
Yo, what up, I am? How you doing?
Welcome.
Hope things are going well for you. I don't know how loud this is going to be. Oh, there we go. Game Boy version of the Ghostbusters theme. I like how after the da-da-da-da-da, you know, like, remember when we were kids, like, you had, like, this tube that you would, like, spin and it would go, like, whoop, whoop, every time you spin, because, like, there's, like, a little, like, marble inside of it that makes it make a noise. You may not have had them in Europe.
I have no idea what you're talking. Well, maybe not because of the description, but
Americans would know. Like, we had this toy as a kid. It was, like, no longer than, like, a foot long, and it was, like, a plastic tube. And it had like a little like ball inside of it, and every time you would like turn it, it would make a noise. It would be like a whoop noise every time you would move it. And that's what the Ghostbusters theme sounds like on Game Boy.
I'm sure it existed here, but I don't think I ever.
I don't remember the name of it, but I remember it being a thing. Like a long tube or something like that. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
I forgot how good the music was for this game.
Yeah, good music, for sure.
Alright, you ready to continue?
Yes, I am.
Right. I always gotta make sure with you. Alright, welcome back everybody. So, Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2 for the NES is not a port of the Game Boy game. They're actually two very different games. Ghostbusters 2 for the Game Boy is a platformer where you get to control the Statue of Liberty towards the end of the game. And,
no, that's Ghostbusters 2.
That's
New
what
Ghostbusters 2. No. You said...
I said Ghostbusters 2 is different than Ghostbusters 2 on Game Boy.
Yeah, but New Ghostbusters 2, which is kinda the same as the Game Boy version, is also not a port. They are made completely separate from each other, although they are similar.
I've heard of this New Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, it's the same ID behind it that the Game Boy version has, but it's not a clone of the game.
Why is it called
It's not
New?
straight. Well, because they already had Ghostbusters 2.
Call it something else.
Well, they did New Ghostbusters 2.
Dumb.
And I'm pretty sure there's also real Ghostbusters or something, so...
So what... Man, what... So Ghostbusters 2... Okay. So Ghostbusters 2, you get to play as the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
New Ghostbusters 2 is a top-down Zappy Boy game like this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What a shit show. Alright. God, I sometimes just hate retro stuff so much. Doesn't make it just doesn't make any sense at all. It's just like, hey, we got these three Ghostbusters games here, but there's only 2 Ghostbuster movies. What should we do? Oh, just put new in front of the one of them. It won't confuse anyone at all. Stupid.
Yeah. I don't think we need to dive into what Ghostbusters is, I hope. I think it's still very well known to this day.
Well, with all the re-releases and whatnot, it should be.
Yeah, now it has the new movie, which is alright. But, yeah. A few years ago, there was the other Ghostbusters movie that we should probably forget ever existed.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new Ghostbusters one, Afterlife, is actually alright. So, but yeah, the original movies, and some argue that the second one isn't good either, but I disagree. It was different for sure, but it's still a great movie. But yeah, the very first 2 Ghostbusters movie were brilliant back in the day. And yes, indeed, there were a lot of cartoons, and that's where even more confusion comes from, because I think it was Ghostbusters and then the real Ghostbusters, and they were like completely different because Ghostbusters didn't have the original characters, but the real Ghostbusters did, or something like that. I don't know. It's very crazy. It's very crazy.
Yeah, too much. Like, you just have like a whole like Chronicles of Ghostbusters. Just be like, the Ghostbusters Chronicles. And as soon as you get into like the cartoons, it just starts to divert.
Yeah.
Then you include the games, and yeah, ick. It's like Zelda. It's like, the Zelda timeline. It's like, okay, like let's let's not get crazy here. It's like, we're just Breath of the Wild fall into the timeline. Who cares? just play the game. How about that? Yeah, alright. General overview. I'm not used to wearing headphones. I was trying to throw my hair back.
Yeah.
Release
So,
date.
just to make it clear, we're talking about Ghostbusters 2 for Game Boy, not the game called The Real Ghostbusters, which is actually just a reskin of
Oh, it's
Garfield's
awful.
Labyrinth.
Oh, that game
Oh,
is bad.
just
Oh
to
my
be clear.
god, is that game bad? You can
And I
soft
think,
walk anywhere in it too. It's
yeah,
awful.
yeah. And I think it's actually a Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
5 or 6 in Japan. Like it's a whole mess.
it's
Just
awful. Is what it is. Yeah, the real Ghostbusters is not fun. The real
no.
Ghostbusters is real bad. Yeah, that one should have never made the Dawn of Time either. So that whole series, that Mickey Mouse, Ghostbusters, Garfield, like whatever, like that game shouldn't have existed.
Yeah.
Period. Mickey and the Magic Wands was enough. We didn't need no more of that. So overview. You all got this game last too. It sucks. Europe game comes
Well,
out in
of course.
1991. Well, usually America and Europe get them around the same time, but
Well, it's probably just a month difference because it's like December 1990 for the US. So
that's true. It
I
could
assume
be.
it just was a month later, like usual.
So yeah, Europe 1991, Japan October 16th, 1990. And then we get America in December of 1990 as well. Developed by HAL. So we were talking about Kirby earlier.
Yeah.
So HAL Labs is a very well known developer at this point in a way. Having at least released most of its pinball games. That's what kind of it was known for to start, and then 2 years later, after this game comes out, we'll have Kirby's Dream Land. So, and then
Hmm.
from there,
Hmm.
the entire Kirby franchise. So, yeah, HAL is the up and comer and soon to be one of the biggest partners that Nintendo will get to deal with. Game is published by Activision, which Activision been around for 100 years as well too. So,
Yeah.
um,
Everybody knows all the things about Activision.
all
Like
of the things about
it, it,
Activision,
there's a lot going on with that stuff. So
poor company.
yeah.
But it was composed by Hirohiko Takayama, which actually is a composer. I think if we haven't discussed them, I know we have said their name before because they've done Bonk's Adventure, they did Tracks, they did Panic Restaurant, Lemmings. So they've done some pretty large games. Friday the 13th, Karate Kid. So,
Did a lot of stuff, but
yeah,
hasn't done anything in quite a while. If
years.
he is
Just,
even alive, to be
yeah.
honest, because I'm not really. Well, he has a Twitter, so I assume
Looks like the
he might
last,
actually.
according to this credits here, the last thing he did was as a sound composer for a game called Isi Hisachi no Des Desekai in 1994.
Mhm,
So,
mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I see that his last post on Twitter was in 2016. So
which was a
maybe
Sega.
he doesn't live anymore. I'm not sure. Or he just quit Twitter. That's
But
also a
his
possibility.
last game was a Sega CD game. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's the composer. It's cool that we got composer at least for this. So, and they've done a few Game Boy games and NES games. Genre: top-down action, top-down shooter. That's not even a shooter. Top-down action, top-down adventure. What do you
Mhm.
want to call it?
Something like
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
It's one of the few top-down games on Game Boy. Like you have Zelda, you have True Lies, you have this, and
Alien
that's
3.
prob Alien 3, right?
Never
Yeah.
forget
And I'm not
Alien
talking about
3.
RPGs, of course, even though some people say that Zelda is actually an RPG, but
It
that's a
is.
bunch of baloney.
All right. Well, we're gonna argue later. It sounds like.
But yeah, just one of the few top-down action games on Game Boy,
I can't believe you
which is
almost
always
forgot
a
Alien
surprise.
3. I can't believe you almost forgot Alien 3.
I will always forget about Alien 3.
How dare you? The first game we actually had a developer comment on. How dare you? Plot. This is your territory here.
Yeah, let me load up the manual because we have it. Surprisingly,
I think I have it too.
we, cool. So yeah, we can actually read what's in the manual for once. Here we go. 5 years ago, New York was saved from a haunted fate by the famous Ghostbusters. Famous or forgotten? For once again, wickedness rears its slimy head, and the ghastly ghoulies are back with a vengeance. An evil being from the past, Vigo, is festering in the awful energy that abounds in New York today. He has stolen Dana's baby Oscar, so he can be born into our world and reign in terror, with ghosts raining from the skies. In the words of Peter Venkman, bummer. So who you gonna call again?
Bummer.
Ghostbusters. Join them if you dare, cause this time it'll take more courage, quicker reflexes, and stouter hearts to bust these creeps. And it has to be done soon, lest these maniacal menaces, Jesus, that's a hard thing to pronounce, doom the city to a slime-filled future.
So literally the story of Ghostbusters to the movie.
Yeah, it's literally
so
the story
literally
of
the movie. Alright. Alright, well. If you've watched the movie, you've played the game then.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, alright, so we're getting the gameplay stuff now. God, that manual sucks. Just looking at it, it's not good.
Yeah, it's there. It exists.
I mean, even for 1990, that manual sucks. Like, Metroid had a better manual. And Metroid was, what, 88, 89, something like that? Alright, anyway, gameplay. Controls are pretty simple. The D-pad moves you, the A button shoots your proton beam, and the B button throws your ghost trap.
And you are always in control of the person who has the proton beam.
Yes.
So this game works a little different than what you're used to. You actually can pick up to 2 characters from the Ghostbuster lineup. So you have Venkman, you have Vegan, you have Wilson, and you have Ray. I forgot his last name actually. But whatever, you can pick all 4 of them. Well, 2 of them. And that's your team. The first one you pick will be your proton beamer, and the other one will be the trapper. But you only control the guy who has the proton beam. The other guy just follows you around
and gets stuck
if
all
he
the
wants.
time.
If he wants. It's kind of weird. It's AI controlled, but it's based on where you are on the screen. So
it tries to. The game tries to track you, but it wants to keep its distance from you so it doesn't stack on you. The problem is that the game has a lot of rooms in it, and you have to open up the door, and if you go into the room before your AI buddy comes in and you start churning into the room, you leave him outside the room. And he doesn't, like, warp to you. So, at least not instantly. He doesn't warp to you. And both of you have your own set of hit points as well, too. So if your AI buddy gets killed, then, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
It is what it is when your AI buddy dies. But, items. So, yeah, before we dive into all the level stuff, items. You acquire these by touching a fellow Ghostbuster, and its picture will appear in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. So if you're watching the video, you can see the gameplay footage happening right now. A B1 up increases your beamer stock by 1.
Oh, they call it a beamer, right?
Yeah.
So it's a beamer and a trapper. There we go.
Yep. Your T1 up is your trap stock. There's a mood slimer, so no traps needed with this. It squelches ghosts instantly, but it's only good for a limited time.
Yeah, it looks like you're using a vacuum cleaner, but it's actually spewing out the mood slime. If you've seen the movie, you know what it is, but it's that purple slime or pink slime they encounter. So,
yep. The jacket protects you from a ghost touch, but again, it's a limited time. The clock extends your allotted time, so you actually is there a time limit in this game per level? I don't remember.
There is a time limit per level, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I couldn't remember. I remember there being a time, but I couldn't remember if it hit 0 you died, or if you hit 0 just let you go and you just don't get a bonus. I couldn't remember.
I've never ran out of time, so I couldn't tell you.
I probably have, and there's no idea. Wall Smasher, you can break through walls, only good for 3 breaks. The Super Trap. Oh, good.
Yeah, the Wall Smasher is an item you get during certain stages because you cannot enter some rooms because they're blocked off. There's like no door, so you only get these in stages where you actually need to use them.
Kind of good,
but you can run out of them, so
yes.
So better open up the right thing. So
you can get them towards the I think you get a lot of them towards the end of the game because that's when like a lot of like the stuff is blocking the doors and whatnot. The Super Trap allows the first Ghostbuster beamer to do the trapping. And then Ghost Power gives you the ability to float through walls and boundaries.
Yeah, as far as I know, you only get that once, because it's a stage where there's a lot of like. If you get this, you can just fly over them, basically. So, it's a kind of a weird system when it comes to items because indeed you have to like touch a fellow Ghostbuster. It's not only the Ghostbusters; you can also find Dana and what's the guy's name again? The one who was the key master, or was he the
guy with the glasses?
Yeah, I forgot his name. Somebody in chat, help, please.
I know who you're talking about. It's not Harold. It's is it Harold?
Nah, that's Egon's real name.
Yeah,
that's the actor. Yeah. That's the actor. Yeah. Oh man, what's his name?
Louis Tully.
Yeah, right. So he's in there as well. If you touch him or Dana, nothing happens really. You get an item, but sometimes when you touch another Ghostbuster, they will like switch out places. It doesn't do anything. All the characters are virtually the same character, but sometimes you just start switching out for whatever reason. Kind of to give you the feeling that you're playing as all the characters, I guess. So, but yeah, it's a kind of an odd system, but it makes sense when you're playing a game for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, the biggest gripe is this your AI person dying and getting caught, but we'll touch on that later. But even in the hints, it says, "Be careful not to get stuck on top of walls in the subway. Eat one." How about that? We'll go over the enemies real quick as well too. There actually aren't all that many enemies considering the game. Slimer, an ugly spud, can float through walls. Ugly spud is in the manual, so y'all know who Slimer is. Jogging Ghost. It says boob in the manual. This boob has no idea where he's going. Well, alright, this manual just went from a 2 to an 8 instantly. Alright. A giant lizard. He's big and he's bad. That's all he has to say.
That's all it says.
That's all it says. The Blob, hard to hit when hopping. No description, there's no pictures in the manual at all of these sprites. It's just the Blob, hard to hit when hopping. Cool, thank you. Crawling Sheet. Crawls around and changes shape. Exactly what you would expect from a crawling sheep. Or a sheet. Sheep even, too. I would expect that from a sheep. As well. This is a good one. Disappearing Clown. Very elusive. Tends to reappear on top of you. I would expect the disappearing clown to be pretty elusive as well. Floating head. They laugh a lot, but they're not funny. They also change direction quickly. Whirling Dervish. Can't be paralyzed when spinning. That is probably the most useful thing in the entire list. Some ghosts have increased point value when they reappear on new levels. Bust all the ghosts in the area before time runs out, and the remaining time is converted to points. Because you know that highest
Yeah,
score is real important.
it is absolutely not. But yeah, while going over these baddies, you did mention how you have to beat this game, basically.
Yep.
Every stage has a set of enemies. You have a counter at the bottom, so you can see how many there are left. You have to hunt them down, and once you get the final ghost in your trap, you move on to the next stage. That's basically the setup of this game. Again, it's still not sure if you die if time runs out or not. I think you do
I'm
though.
pretty
I
sure you
think
do.
yeah, I think you do die or lose lose a hit point or something like that. But yeah, your main goal is just to find the ghosts because they are ghosts and they will not always appear where you think they will appear. We are going to go over the stages anyways right now, but just as a general rule of thumb, when once you start moving in a stage, you can see a few ghosts in front of you. If you keep following the paths to the ghost right in front of you, you will probably not get lost and go around as you are intended to go through the rooms, and you will not miss any of the ghosts because some of the rooms are still empty the first time you go through them. But after you've done another room, some ghosts will appear there. So sometimes you have to search a little bit before you know exactly where everything will show up. For the most part, this is very easy because all of the enemies are on screen all the time. The jogging ghost will try to disappear, but if you're close enough, he will definitely get back into your sight. The problem is the disappearing clown. They will only appear when you're like, what, 5 pixels away from them
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's pretty bad.
So you really have to go around tables, chairs, in corners just to make sure you activate their sprite basically.
Yep.
So those are the hardest to find for sure. They are the easiest to beat because they spawn in front of you, you shoot and you trap them, so that's not really a problem. The biggest gripes I have with these enemies are the blobs, and I guess it's the whirling dervish. I have no idea what a dervish is, by
I
the
don't
way.
either.
I think they mean the dolls, like those dolls.
Oh, maybe.
So those are two enemies that indeed start spinning and you can't do anything and you have to wait until they stop spinning until you can beam them, which makes you lose a lot of time. But again, they don't show up that often, so
No.
it should be fine. So that's like the basic gist of the game. Like you start in an area, it has a few stages. You trap all the ghosts in an area, you move on to the next one, and at the end there will always be a boss fight.
The one thing we didn't touch on is that so like your hit points are like your so like how we talked about like how Beamer and Trappers have like little like notches to them. That's your hit points essentially. So your Beamer is the person you're controlling, and the Trapper is the AI. Each one of you have different set of hit points or different set of notches for the Beamer and Trapper. If any of you lose all of your notches, it's game over. So that means like if the AI gets stuck, it just dies. It sucks to suck, but it's game over. So
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
the game has limited continues as well. Three
Indeed.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, but it does have a password system. Um, but three continues. Your AI friend can die, which means you die, which means you get to start the stage over. But when you die, if you have another life, you get a little shield around you, basically that makes you impervious to getting hit for a little bit at least. So they give you that, but yeah, most of the time that when I died, it was because my AI died. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah. Let's see what else. That was also in the manual, so you know that was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, let's take a closer look at the stages. Like we're just gonna like put them all together. We're just gonna
Yeah.
talk about the areas basically. So you start the game in the courthouse. I guess that's where the movie started as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, the first one was in the library. This was in the courthouse. So you start in the courthouse. There are 3 stages in total here. They're all super short and tiny when it comes to like uh, map size. Basically, they're all very short stages. Because you see the timer at the start, it looks like, oh, I only have like what, 2 minutes. It's more than enough time. Like they are really really short stages.
More than enough.
So yeah, you go through these. I think the only enemies you see here are the Slimers, the Jogging Ghosts, and the Giant Lizards. I think that's the 3 enemy types you will encounter during this level. They're all super easy to deal with. So these are very standard enemies. They all behave differently, but there's nothing really special about them. After you beat the 3 stages, you will come across the first boss of the game, and in this case, it will be the judges. Again, if you see the movie, you see that they have to fight some judges. So that's who you will be fighting first. There's 2 of them, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And the mechanics start work a little bit different during boss fights. Because boss fights are what you can call a shoot 'em up. You have to dodge bullets and you have to shoot back. Your AI partner will always have a shield on, so only you can get hit during these fights. That doesn't make it a lot easier, by the way. They're still pretty hard to dodge, but it's good that you don't have to think about where your partner is moving, at least. So during these boss fights, there will be item drops that come from the top of the stage. Basically, you can get the shield. You can get like what would you call it? Like a bit better gun, because
Yeah,
you're
you get
not
a
using
bigger
the
gun.
you're not using the proton pack or anything. You're using some kind of gun during these stages. So there's that. I think there's health pickups as well that you can grab during the boss fights. They're all on a timer, a global timer, as far as I know. So yeah, the longer you take, the more power ups you will see, of course. But if you take down the bosses fast, you will not be getting a lot of them. Most of these bosses have like a phase where you can hit them and a phase where you can't hit them. So you have to learn a pattern. We're not gonna go diving into the actual pattern. You can definitely figure that out yourself. But yeah, that's basically how this game works. Like trap ghost, go to the boss, shoot it, and then you move on to the next stage. Basically.
Yep. If you've ever played Ghostbusters 1, not Ghostbusters 2 or the new Ghostbusters 2, Ghostbusters 1 on the NES, and you got to the very end where you have to go face off against what's her face, and how the game goes from like a top down to like a side scrolling, and all of a sudden like it's kind of like almost like a back like third person isometric like shoot into all those things. That's kind of what the game turns into. It's no longer running around beaming ghosts. It's all of a sudden like third person, you're facing the back of them, and then you're shooting into the boss, or in this case the judges. And like what Mo said, there's 2 judges. One kind of just like sits in the center and just floats around, and the other one circles it. So, best advice I can give you is hang out behind your AI friend because they have a shield. And they can't die.
That's indeed a good tip. Yeah.
So hang out behind your AI friend. They can't die. You can actually shoot through their bullets and destroy them, but that's it. Pretty basic. Just sometimes when you move, you might get hit. Just get power ups. Makes the game a lot easier. But moving on to stage 2, after you beat those judges, you go into the sewers. And the sewers.
Yeah, it's like quote unquote
Yeah.
sewers. Like it's the underground railroad, I guess, which is part of the sewers. Again, if you've seen the movie, you know they go down into the underground of New York City, basically.
Yeah.
So.
This one here is 4 stages long before you get to the boss. You'll encounter what the hell are they called? I wish they had like the sprites next to them. You get the What's the one-eyed?
That's the blob,
That's the
probably.
well, the one that it looks like just a generic ghost that has a one eye in the center. That's the clown, right?
Nah, that's the blob.
Is it the blob? Okay. So you'll get
Yeah.
the blobs. You'll get the skinwalker looking things that look like a little teardrop body with four arms. Think of like Bart versus the Space Mutants. Um,
Kind of looks like that, yeah.
yeah, I don't know what that would be.
That's a crawling sheet, I assume.
Is it? I thought the crawling sheet was the sheet.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a crawling sheet.
That doesn't look like a sheet.
Whatever.
And then you get the things that roll around on the ball.
That's a disappearing clown for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say there's one more, and I can't remember now because it's been so long.
I think those two are
Those three
in the next stage. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But those are the enemies you come across. This stage here, again, just like stage one, pretty easy, and it's also pretty linear. Once you go up, like there's some pieces where like you can split off, and basically you just circle around and go to the other side. You just do a big figure eight and call it a day. The sewer didn't have all that many rooms per se, but there's a lot of little areas that you can get stuck on. More specifically, your AI can get stuck on, because the hallways are large, but the corners are narrowish. So your AI can get clipped into the wall if you're not careful, and you can lose the AI pretty quick. Otherwise, like sometimes if you go into like the little like side like areas, like the little closets, there could be multiple enemies in there, like multiple clowns, and you can get kind of ambushed kind of quick. So it is. You have to be a little bit careful. The tip I always did when going into like those little ones was try to get the AI to face one way and me to face another way, just in case something came out from both sides, just to try and cover both sides, so I don't get flanked. But it's really hard to make your AI do what you want it to do. So you just gotta hope for the best. So I mean that's sewers in a nutshell. You'll have Slimers in the sewers as well too. I forgot about the Slimers. The next thing is, so we go against the boss, and the boss is a train, and it's not just any ordinary train; it is a sewer train. So
it's a ghost train.
It's a ghost train,
but you cannot suplex this one.
You cannot
suplex the train.
You cannot suplex this train. That is correct. This train, as you would imagine, takes a bajillion shots to kill. The cool thing about the game, though, is that it does actually give you a boss health meter in the bottom left-hand corner. But
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but when you lay into this train, it doesn't move because it takes so many hits to kill it. When you quote-unquote blow it up, all these like ghost zombie heads start floating towards you, and you have to shoot them all down and get rid of them, or run away. I think you run away from them, and they eventually disappear and reform. Yeah, they eventually disappear, or they eventually reform into the train. It's just like Maru's mission whenever Insector breaks up. Right. And you have to wait for Insector to reform itself. It's just like that. All the while, there's 3 different railroad tracks. Oh, you can actually see it right now in the gameplay footage on the stream. Hot damn, dude. Playing. So there are 3 tracks that the train can come down. And during that time, you have to dodge the Beetlejuice heads while, if you want power-ups, you kind of have to figure out how to get to the power-ups as well. But otherwise, it's dodge the Beetlejuice heads, shoot into the train, and that's really it. That's the fight. The train will sometimes shoot some smoke out of its stack at you. You just gotta avoid it. But that's
pretty standard fight.
That's the ghost train.
Indeed.
once you've beat the ghost train, you get a cool cutscene that I think it's Vigo, um, is flying the baby carriage, and then you get the Statue of Liberty.
That's Janos.
Is that okay? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
someone.
when he steals the baby. Yeah,
Yeah, and then
yeah.
you see the Statue of Liberty. So just like Ghostbusters 2, uh, but you don't get to play as the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
Then
sadly no.
you go to the museum now. So
Yep, and this is already the final area of the game. Again, like the NES version is very similar to this game, but it has actually a lot more stages. So if you want a bigger game after this one, you can always check that one out. But it does work differently, uh,
yeah.
even though it looks the same. But yeah, we're at the museum, so it's time to go take down Vigo the Carpathian. So this one has 6 stages if I counted correctly, which is weird because it's 3, 4, then 6. But I'm pretty sure it's 6
Yeah, it's
stages at
long.
least.
It's a long.
Yeah, for some reason it's suddenly a lot longer. And this is probably also the place where the AI will start to work on your nerves a lot. Because there's new enemies like the floating heads. Just think of a Medusa, basically from Castlevania. Suddenly they start floating across the screen in a weird pattern, and every time it's, of course, in the path of the AI. So you have to be really careful when entering a room. And also these whirling dervishes, I guess, are here, which are like these dolls uh, that start spinning around, and you can only hit them when they are not doing that. But yeah, this place is stacked with furniture and stuff like that, so it's kind of harder to move around through it and not get hit,
Yeah.
especially during the final stage of this place, and that is the last time I played it, which was last week, I believe. Like I game over there twice in that stage just because my AI got stuck, and then one of those stupid Medusa heads flew in and killed it over and over again. So yeah, this might get frustrating, but after a while, you know where those enemies will spawn from, and then you can hopefully get through it. Very easily. After these 6 stages, though, it's time for the final 2 bosses of the game. It's not like the judges where you fight both of them at the same time. You actually fight Janos first, and then Vigo will come to life. I did not play that far last time, so I do not remember that fight. So maybe you remember it better than I do.
Well, the Jonos fight was. I'm trying to remember it now. So like I remember it's like Vigo's a painting still in this game.
Yes, yes.
The Jonos fight is like I believe it's just like a floating head or something like that that just goes in front of the Vigo picture, and once in a while will come down and swoop down to where you are, and then you just have to wait for him to come back up before you can shoot him again, because otherwise like you just get absolutely just annihilated. And then once you've destroyed the head, Vigo like busts out of the picture like the Kool-Aid Man, and he just starts like spread shooting like this stuff that you can't blow up with your weapon at all. So you just have to like go in between the gaps, and he moves around the top of the screen like a madman. Like he's actually kind of hard to hit. He's actually really tough to hit. So like in this case here, if you can learn how to get behind your AI, this is like the perfect fight to get behind your AI on, because he doesn't stop shooting at all, and he's going left to right kind of quickly. But once you've beat him, or once you get close to the end, he like he like stops and lands on the ground right next to you, and you just lay into him, blow him up basically. And then after that, you get a pretty comical ending cutscene. But yeah, the
Mhm.
Vigo fight basically is if you don't know how to get behind the AI, you're probably going to die a lot.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's what the Vigo fight is.
Yeah, it's quite a challenge at the end of the game, but I mean, it's a pretty short game, so it's
It
not
is.
bad that's this
Yeah.
happens at all. Oh.
Like the playthrough that's going on right now is, let's see here. Like the playthrough that I put up right now is my playthrough, and it's only an hour and a half long. So,
Wow, that's actually
and
still pretty long. I
this was
think,
blind. So,
yeah, I think mine was about 45 minutes, but I
yeah.
think I played the game before that I recorded that, um, so I had some experience. So yeah, an hour and a half, I can see it, especially if you game over and you have to use a password to get
Yeah.
back to some of the
I
stages. That
think I
definitely
game
makes
overed
sense.
quite a bit at the start of the game, just because I didn't know what
Yeah,
the heck I was doing.
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's the boss fight. So like the first part is relatively simple. You just have to stay on your toes when he wants to swoop down. But the Vigo fight will very much test your shmup skills. That's for sure. And I'm not good at shmups. That's why I cheated and used the AI as my shield. So, so
Right.
hey man, you do what you gotta do sometimes in these games.
True, true.
We've played enough Game Boy games now to know that you do what you gotta do sometimes. Like
If
in
you can cheese, cheese.
like in the museum stage, so like if you want to cheese the museum stage, a lot of the ghosts can't go through the furniture. But you can zap and trap through the furniture. So if you get some of the ghosts up against the furniture, you can beam them and trap them from across the furniture, and they can't touch you. So if you want a cheese
Mm-hmm.
strap for the museum, there you go. Uh, just use the furniture to your advantage. The furniture's going to kill you as well because your AI is going to get stuck on it, but use it against them as well. The hell with them. All right, so that's the game. Once you beat the game, you get a cutscene where the Ghostbusters are on stage. Bill Murray's character, I think it is, gets a kiss on the cheek, and a heart goes up into the air.
Yeah.
And then it says "Keep on bustin'," and then it rolls into credits. So, um,
Yep, that's the end of the game.
that's the game. I didn't
Yeah.
talk about the cutscene after you beat the courthouse where the guy takes the baby and like Kobe Bryant dunks right into the sewer. So, um,
Yeah, the cutscenes are a nice add-on, but they're not like they're not Ninja Gaiden
no, they're not.
quality cutscenes or anything like that. So they're just fun to be here. And again, the NES version has different
Yeah,
cutscenes and longer
I will
cutscenes
say
and
that
more.
I will say for this being a 1990 game, and for like it's a short game, but there's actually a decent amount. Like, there's a lot of detail to the game. Like the sprite work in this game is actually very, very well done. Like
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
character sprites, the atmosphere sprites, the enemy sprites are a little bit to be desired. Right, they're a little generic, but the overall like the focused sprite works, like the things you need to focus on, are very well done. So, um, even the music in this game is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, I feel like I when I hot mic'd the browser source, I was like, oh wow, the music's really good in this game. From when I played it like 2 years ago, and then I was just listening to the Zofer stuff during our first break. I was like, oh man, the music in this game is actually pretty good. So, uh,
Yeah. If there's one thing that HAL definitely always did with their games, even if they are pretty simple. Like even Revenge of the Gator, which is like
yeah,
the most basic pinball game you can imagine. Like the polish was always well done, and the music was always well done, and it shows in this game as well that they
yeah.
actually put some effort into making the game. Sadly, they couldn't figure out how to make the AI move better, but I mean, you can expect that from such an early game.
I mean,
Then again,
yeah.
a lot of the AI in newer games, where you have to do escort missions, is even more appalling than this game. So it's always a weird thing to program for sure when something has to do what you do.
I played
Um,
World of Warcraft. I know all about escort missions and failing them because of the dumb
yeah.
AI. So
Yeah.
I play Assassin's Creed. I know all about dumb AI in video games.
Mhm. And yeah, you would think, but how about multiplayer in this game? Isn't that an option? It is not,
Not on Game
and
Boy.
neither on NES.
Yeah.
So it would have been really cool if they made this game be able to be played by two people. Uh, like maybe not on Game Boy, but on NES would have been
Yeah.
cool as well. But they didn't. It has no multiplayer capabilities. Sadly, maybe somebody can make a ROM hack where you can do it.
All right, ROM
And
hackers, get to it.
yeah, I mean that would be really cool
It
because this
would
is a
be.
very fun game to play with two people. So
Oh man, I couldn't
kind of
imagine.
reminiscent of what's it called? Zombies Ate My Neighbor and the sequel like
Oh
Ghoul
yeah,
Patrol. Yeah,
yeah.
it would kind of be something like that basically.
It
So
almost be like Goof
no.
Troop a little bit too.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is a game you and I still need to play.
right. Yeah.
We tried and we failed miserably that one time.
Well, that was not because of us though. So
No, it was not because of it. Well, yeah, no, it wasn't because of us. But yeah. So cover art. So there are three different versions, I guess, of the cover art. Um,
yeah,
kinda,
kinda, yeah.
yeah. So
Basically, they are all the movie poster.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
like if you've seen the movie poster, that is literally the cover. Like they didn't do anything special with it.
yeah. They literally took the movie poster and just shoved it right on. They just shrunk it down and shoved it onto the Game Boy box.
Mm-hmm.
It says Ghostbusters 2. The O is the Ghostbusters logo, and then the Ghostbusters logo with the four Ghostbusters in front of it. Like nothing. If you would have went back and saw the movie and whenever it came out in theater and you saw the poster, that's what you'd see here.
Yeah, probably also most of the DVD covers will have this image
Yeah.
on it. I assume. Like there are different versions, of course, but this is probably the one most used. And for some reason that I don't understand really, in America you had two versions of this game. Well, not two versions, like just two cover arts of this game.
We had a reprint, yeah.
Oh, it isn't even a reprint. That's the weird thing about it. They came out at the same time, so you could have
Oh,
bought the movie poster version, or you could have bought just the drawing version of the logo, which is really weird that they did that. So even on the cartridge, it's like a completely different logo, but it's not a reprint at all.
this game is expensive. Oh god.
I would imagine, yeah.
So the black label one, the one without the four Ghostbusters, is the most expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That one's running at about $80 to $90, and the one with the movie poster print is $60 to $70.
Mm-hmm.
This is an expensive game. I'm glad I bought
Yeah.
it for $15 3 years ago.
I don't know if I have it, but I would have to check. But
I have the movie poster version. I know that. I know I don't have the black print one.
Yeah, maybe Ghostbusters 2 was the very first Game Boy game that got a special edition, kinda, because
Oh,
it had a
maybe.
different label. Like, I still don't. I tried looking it up why there are two different ones. Usually it is indeed because of a reprint, but
Even the
they
Japanese
should.
version is really expensive too.
Yeah, yeah.
$80 for the Japanese one. But the Japanese one's interesting because like the Japanese box art is essentially the poster. It's kind of bigger and it's more exposed in my opinion. And the background's black instead of blue, but it's still the movie poster nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
But the game card, the sticker on the game card is all white, and it just has the Ghostbusters 2 logo on it. That's it. So interesting.
Yeah,
But
interesting release.
but the Japanese version's also $80. So
Yeah,
There's
I
no
do
there's
not
no
own this
cheap
game.
there's no cheap route for this game.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
sadly I don't have it. So whatever.
All right, here you go, Mo. There's a complete in box sealed of the black copy for $5,000.
Yeah, no thanks.
The manual for this game is $25 even. Like, goddamn. Glad I have the manual too. Like, Jesus. This is why I don't buy retro stuff anymore. I can't afford
it's
it.
too expensive.
I can't afford
Absolutely.
it. Who in the right mind can afford retro stuff right now? That's why I got the Mister. It's like, oh, I can buy a Sega CD or a CDI and then start buying the library, and it'll cost me $400 for that. Or I can just buy a Mister and just have everything on my fingertips.
Indeed.
Stupid. I hate how the retro market is right now. I want a time traveling device, and I'm gonna go back to 1997 and just buy everything. Just buy it all. Little Samson for $5. Give me 20 copies.
What a great use of a time machine.
Dude, imagine the money I'd make in the future, though. Be like, oh, I got all these rare games now that I bought for $20. Time to sell them on eBay for thousands of dollars. What a return on investment. So, yeah. Alright, well, with that, we're gonna take. Oh, no, do we have any trivia? I don't have any trivia for this one.
I don't have any trivia either, no.
Alright, well, with that, we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we'll definitely give us our thoughts and history of the game, but we'll also give you thoughts and history of the game as well. Stay tuned.
Alright, I'll go to the bathroom.
Have fun.
I don't know what's fun about it, but...
Yeah, my collection literally hasn't grown in like 3 years because of just how bad the retro market is right now. It sucks. Because like I was in the process of getting Japanese games because our scans and our manuals and stuff like that, like we don't have a lot of Japanese stuff. So I was in the process of getting Japanese stuff, and then when COVID hit, Japan went from basically free shipping to America to about $20 per cart. So like you would buy the game for like $2. But then you spend $20 on shipping, and it's like, well, that's done. That was short-lived. But at least we got a few cool games out of it, though. So like, this is a Game Boy Color game, but this is a Game Boy Kiss Game Boy Color game. So like, we got a few cool games out of it, but unfortunately, I think the biggest pull that I got from the Japanese stuff was the Wizardry games. Like, these games are actually really hard to find. Especially complete in box, so like... That's the second one. So like, here's Wizardry 1. Kind of a cool case. Has a little bit of foil to it. And, Wizardry 2. And the cool thing about the Wizardry games was that they came with a card of one of the monsters. My 2 might not have a card. Yeah, my 2 doesn't have a card. Oh no, it does, right here. So, in this case here, 2 has a chart. All in Japanese, but it's a chart of like all the stuff inside the game. I can't read it because it's in Japanese, obviously, but zoom if I can open up 3 here. Oops. So here's number 3. Then went back to the black box with the foil again. And then, mind you, these manuals are like 54 pages long as well. Yeah, here it is. So, like, every wizardry game for the Game Boy came with this, monster card. So, like, this monster is either a boss or an enemy you would encounter in the game. And then on the back of it, it has the stats of that monster. I want to say I'm missing one of. I think I'm missing the one for 2, I believe. But
We back.
yeah, that was probably the best pull I had for the Japanese stuff. I was talking about the wizardry games because I know how much you like them.
No.
Mo loves wizardry. He is really into D&D, so he really understands the games.
Worst series ever made.
If you never played wizardry, they loosely follow D&D rules, and if you've never played D&D or if you're not familiar with D&D, you're in for a hard time.
Yeah, I deleted it from my list.
Did you really?
Yeah, I do not want to continue with that game. I put it on there because it had a translation, but no. After 16 hours of not really getting anywhere, I was like, nope, I'm done with this. Maybe I'll pick it back up later, but I still have the save file at least.
Yeah, I remember going in and watching you play that game, and it's like, it's D&D rules, Mo. Like, you didn't roll high enough initiative.
Nothing in that game is good.
If you don't know what a Game Boy Kiss cart looks like, there you go. It's really tall. The battery is on the front. It's kind of heavy too. Don't know what a Game Boy Kiss cart looks like. They're kind of a pain in the ass to dump as well, but yeah, I can show you Game Boy stuff all day long. I got both my Game Boys right here. I can show you Game Boy shit all day long. So I have a lot of it right here. Like, all my homebrews are right here still. Like, there's Ruby and Rusty from Max Oakland. Oh, God. Here's Gelatinous from John Rue. You know how much I loved that fucking game. And then The Machine, which is a phenomenal homebrew game by Ben Jelter.
Well, I guess Shapeshifter 2 will be heading towards me next month.
Yeah, Shapeshifter 2 is getting shipped out in a month, so I'm stoked on that. Shapeshifter 2, double Game Boy cart. I am stoked on how he's gonna accomplish that, though. I'm assuming it's some sort of like maybe password thing. I don't know, but I am excited to play Shapeshifter 2.
I assume it's something like that. Yeah,
It'll probably be like the Oracle and Season stuff, where like you beat one, you get a password and play the other.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
very interesting.
I didn't play the ROMs when he sent them out. Did you? I wanted to play on physical.
No, so. I didn't. No.
Like, he sent me the ROMs, so I was like, I kind of want to play it on physical before I do anything. Excuse me. Gelatinous, though. Bad game. It was pretty... I have a lot more worse words to say about the game, but the speedrun for that game is super fun. Casually, that game is really bad. Which is unfortunate, because that was a game I was looking forward to. But it is what it is. The Machine is phenomenal, though. If you want to play a homebrew game, play The Machine. 22 different endings. So, a lot of replay value. Alright. Welcome back, everyone, to Ghostbusters 2. So yeah, dive into thoughts and history. We'll start with you, Mo.
Alright. So yeah, like probably any kid or even adult back then. I love the Ghostbusters movies. They are phenomenal comedies and action
Yeah.
movies, and like just the cast alone, all these people like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and Harold. Is it Ramis or Ray? I think it's Ramis you pronounce it.
I
Who
don't know. Yeah.
unfortunately passed away way too early. And well, I'm sorry, Wilson. Everybody keeps forgetting about you. I don't remember the actor's name. I'm not good with names, anyways. But yeah,
Ernie.
those are
Ernie Hudson.
people. Yeah, there we go, Ernie Hudson. Like these are people that were very present during that time because of all their comedies that they released back then. So uh, it's the perfect humor for me. Like I grew up watching all that stuff, so definitely loved both of these movies. I don't know why people did not really like this. Well, I understand it because it was the harshness was toned down in the second movie because they wanted to reach a bigger audience. Because the first one is actually a pretty raunchy comedy. There's a lot of adults jokes in that one that wouldn't fly for the sequel. So it's toned down in that way, but otherwise, it's still a perfectly fine comedy for sure. I don't remember much of the cartoons. I know they did air here, but I don't have any recollection of actually watching them. I also did never play. I guess that's English.
Is now.
It is kind of English, but yeah, I never played a single Ghostbusters game when I was a kid. Like nobody I knew
Oh
had them,
man.
and I don't think I've ever seen any out in the wild during that day. That day, so the very first Ghostbusters game that I actually played was Ghostbusters for PS3 and was it Xbox 360? I guess.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was the very first one I played, which is basically Ghostbusters 3 for people who haven't played that. Like it's written by again the same people, even Harold Ramis, who was still alive back then. So it was all scripted by them. It's basically a best of with a little bit extra of the first two movies. But yeah, definitely play that game. But you can buy the HD remake nowadays for PS4 and Xbox One, I guess, or maybe it even got an upgrade already for PS5 and what's it called? Xbox. They have a
Series X.
yeah. I hate their naming convention so much. But yeah, you can definitely check out that game, and it works a little better than the. Especially PS3 and Xbox 360 one because there's a lot of problems with those. So yeah, like of course I played the PS3 version, and right when I finish it, they announced the HD remake. So I was like, God damn it, why did you do this to me? But I picked that up as well because it's a little better. So the very first time I played this was probably just for portable pleasure or just randomly. I had seen a lot of the NES games. The normal ones, that is Ghostbusters, the one with the car in the city, which doesn't look like a fun game to me. And then the second one with the Statue of Liberty that also doesn't look very much fun to me. So I was a little afraid booting this game up. And then I saw the HAL logo, and I was like, wait, did HAL make a Ghostbusters game? What's going on here? And yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised by how they made this game. It's just a very unique game for sure. I should check out the NES version sometimes because it's in the same vein. But yeah, I think it's a very unique game, a very fun game. It's not too difficult, except for the fact that well, the AI just screws you over a lot, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So but otherwise, I would definitely always recommend everybody to play this game. And sadly, you cannot play this with two people, like I said before. That would have been great. Maybe not doable on Game Boy, I would assume. But on the NES, it would have been very cool for a co-op game because there's
Yeah.
not a lot of co-op games on NES either. So yeah, that's those are my thoughts on history with this game.
So my history with Ghostbusters is very similar to any kid that grew up in the 80s and 90s. I had the Ghostbuster figurines. I had the proton pack that you'd put on. That literally did nothing at all. Like you would turn a plastic knob, it just didn't do anything. You squeeze the trigger, and it would spin this like green thing, and that was already attached in front of it. But you know what? Like it was the 80s and 90s. That shit was awesome. So I had the little like ghoul thing too, like the little handheld ghoul thing that always showed a ghost in the center of it. It's just it Ghostbusters, you know, that's just what you did. Um, but I watched 1 and 2, you know, as a kid, and um, I played the first Ghostbusters game that I ever played was Ghostbusters 1 on the Atari 2600. So that was the one where you're the Ghostbusters logo and you go around the city and you have to buy the stuff, capture the ghosts, buy the stuff, capture the ghosts, buy the stuff, enter the Zool building, and then face off against was it Dozer and all that's up there. So
Gozer, yeah.
yeah, so that was my first Ghostbusters game that I ever played. And then I remember one fateful Christmas, I got Ghostbusters 2, not the new Ghostbusters 2, but Ghostbusters 2 on NES. And I remember being able to, now it was a platform where I had to jump over some like floating heads, duck under them. If I got touched by the spider that was behind me, it would instantly kill me. I got to shoot like haunted fish with the Statue of Liberty. It was awesome. Loved it. Never ever played a Ghostbusters game on Game Boy until Game Boy Adventure though. I never played the PS3 version of Ghost. Like my last Ghostbusters game I played before Game Boy Adventure was Ghostbusters 2 back in like 1993. That was the last time I played a Ghostbusters game. And then Game Boy Adventure came along, and then I don't remember how I got it. I saw Ghostbusters 2, and I was like, oh, Ghostbusters 2, I want to play as the Statue of Liberty. And I got this game, and I was like, yeah, we'll give it a shot, and I sat down, beat it in an hour and a half, so it must have been decent. I enjoyed the game quite a bit. My biggest gripes were the AI. My AI constantly was getting stuck all the time. The only reason I would ever like die or game over is because my AI would just get hit and die. Every time I needed a trap, my AI was just nowhere to be found. I'm just like, it was just tedious. It just got to the point where I was like, you know what, like, fine, we'll play it your way. Like right now, you can see my AI stuck between furniture and just can't move. So, it's just such as life. And then after this, I was like, oh, there's another Ghostbusters game on the Game Boy. Cool. And I popped that in, and I hated my life immediately because it was the real Ghostbusters. It was just a puzzle game, and it's not very fun. It's not a very fun game at all. And I learned that you can soft lock the game in stage 1, and that was the end of that adventure. Real quick, I got to like level 50, and I was like, "Yep, I'm never playing this game again." So it still sits at level 50. I have the password still to get to where I left off, but I probably won't play it anytime soon. As for the new Ghostbuster stuff, I do want to play the new Ghostbuster games. They do look fun. I think I watched Mo play one on stream once.
Yeah, I was streaming the one. Yeah, true.
They look fun. They look very entertaining. It's just I just never had a chance. I did have a PS3. I mean, I had the Xbox. My Xbox was a glorified Call of Duty machine, though. But so I never played the new ones. But I mean, I own them now, so maybe I will go back and play them.
Yeah, all I can say about like the PS4 versions, like there is a trophy to finish the game on hard mode. The game is fine on hard mode, except for one fight in the entire game that took me like 3 hours to get through. So if you don't care about achievements at all, just play
Nope.
it on normal. Then it's actually doable. But otherwise, if you if you play it on hard, and you'll know when you get there, you're gonna get stuck for quite a long time, and it's all just because of the mechanics of the game, how it works. It's not balanced well enough for the amount of damage you take during that part. But yeah, I mean, otherwise it's fine. But I do think you have to beat it on all three difficulties, which is never good for trophies.
I'm never going to. I'm not a like, I'll get trophies as I get them. I'm not a trophy hunter by any means. So
Mm-hmm.
unless it's Assassin's Creed, then I'll hunt for trophies. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I knew other versions of Ghostbusters. Like I knew there was the Genesis version of Ghostbusters, right? That had like the big heads and whatnot. I knew there was a place.
No idea.
I know there was a PlayStation one. I knew there was like a Game Boy Color game for it as well too. Like I knew there were different iterations of Ghostbusters games out there, but I never got into them. So basically, like once like Ghostbusters like died off, is when I was done with Ghostbusters. Like I remember watching the cartoons, like the real Ghostbusters with Arsenio Hall, I think it was, as one of the voice actors, and
Yeah,
I
no
remember
clue
I
really.
remember watching the cartoons here and there, but I could never get into the cartoons as much as the actual movies. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, this game here, like my history is, I played it for Game Boy Adventure, liked it, and then when we were looking for another episode to do, I was like, hey, like this Ghostbusters, we have Ghostbusters 2, which we haven't talked about yet, and it's a pretty unique game. Like we should probably cover it sometime. And here we are talking about it now. So it's definitely a game I do want to revisit because I do want a long play of the game, but I don't know when I'll revisit it. Honestly, like I said, it's a fun game, but it's one of those games I kind of have to be in the mood to play.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So yeah, I touched briefly on the achievements on the PS3. Well, I don't think 3 has it, but 4 has it at least. Um, so let's take a look at the retro achievements because this game does have them, and it's actually a pretty doable list, which is nice to have for retro achievements. So it's basically beat the game, nothing wrong with that. And here it says beat floor 3-6, so I was correct that there were six stages there. And then there's some random ones like during the first two boss fights you can get hit. During the last boss fight you can only get hit 3 times. And others are like quote unquote speed run trophies, like beat any level on the courthouse under a minute, well, on the clock, not like an actual minute. Uh, but yeah, it's a pretty decent list for people who want to tackle that. There's nothing too crazy in it. I guess maybe the hardest one is score 200k. I didn't really pay attention to to the scoring system, uh, so yeah. If you want to go for those, boot up your what is it called again? I forgot the
Retro
enemy.
art.
Yeah, RetroArch. Pop on those achievements, log into your account, and you can have some fun with that. Yeah, it's a pretty fun list. So that's not always the case on for Game Boy games.
Yeah, so here you can see the gameplay footage of me fighting Vigo and how I basically just cheese it by standing behind the shield guy. Like that's the fight. It sucks. It's hard.
It is hard. Yes.
So, but again, like I said, I think in the last episode we talked about retro achievements. I think retro achievements, like although it's on RetroArch, you take that however you will. I think retro achievements has been a really cool thing and really revitalized a lot of retro activity again. So, as
Mm-hmm.
much as I may dislike the RetroArch software for various different reasons, I do applaud that those two have bridged and made it made it some sort of challenge or made it fun to actually replay through the retro stuff again if you never grew up with it. So speedrun section. Yep, there are no speedruns for this game on
Nope.
speedrun.com. There
Only
is
for the NES one.
there is one for the new Ghostbusters 2. Not Ghost. I mean, there are some for Ghostbusters 2, but the new Ghostbusters 2, there are some. They're pretty old too. It looks like not many people run this game anymore. The most recent was 2 months ago, but beyond that, like year plus. So, um, I'm confused. Remember how you said the new Ghostbusters doesn't have co-op? Apparently the Japanese one does.
That is interesting.
I just found out on the speed. Like I was playing the speedrun.com, and it was like JP co-op. Oh, it's a ROM hack.
Oh, there we go.
There
See,
you go.
people can ROM hack that stuff.
New Ghostbusters 2 2-player ROM hack.
A super.
Yeah, okay, that's
See,
cool.
that's cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty baller too. That looks actually a lot of fun. All right, well, who's going to AGDQ? We're gonna be playing some Ghostbusters 2 co-op, and and figured every Game Boy game had a run. No, God no.
There's
so
a lot
many,
of games that don't have runs.
So many Game Boy games that don't have runs. Yeah, even the real Game Boy, the real Ghostbusters isn't even on here, which is rightfully so because that game sucks. The only handheld games that are on here is Extreme Ghostbusters for the Game Boy Color and Extreme Ghostbusters Code Echo 1 for the Game Boy Advance. So, and I don't even know what those two games are.
No idea.
No idea. I'm assuming it's based off the cartoon at that point. So yeah, nothing to talk about in terms of the speedruns for old Ghostbusters 2 Game Boy.
So yeah, get on it, somebody.
Yeah, someone do that so we can put it into a Tiny 10 and make people mad. People love being mad right now in the Tiny 10, so. Alright, with that, we'll just dive into events coming up and stuff like that. So, just a reminder, is it Saturday now? Every Saturday for our Geo Waffles? I think it's every Saturday now.
Usually, yeah. So, unless nobody is available, of course.
Yeah, I would, Zerg, if the runners would enjoy that. Runners don't like blind stuff, I found out. Yeah, so every Saturday, make sure to check out Retro Gaming Life TV for Saturday Waffles, where a few of the people on staff do they do raffles. You talk and chat, you enter yourself into a raffle. If you win, you get to choose a game from various different consoles, and they'll play it on stream for you for X amount of time. So it's a pretty cool time. It's pretty fun. I've done a few raffles myself, and I found some. I've been suggesting some pretty damn cool games that I personally would never have seeked or sought out myself to play. So
exactly,
like Tempo Junior for the Game Gear. I don't know the Game Gear library at all. But Tempo Junior for the Game Gear, I would have never have I would have thought it was a DDR game if I saw that. But it was one of the cooler platformers I've played, and it's for the Game Gear even. So, I mean, there are some stinkers like Pitfall for the Game Boy Color.
Well, I had Alf last time.
Oh, nice!
But it surprisingly. I know it's a bad game, of course, but
it's not good.
Surprisingly, it was fun to play it, but it's kind of hard to figure out what to do. Yeah. I don't know. It wasn't that bad in my opinion, but I only played it for 15 minutes, of course, and that was 10 minutes spent on the bat cave until somebody said that I can pick up a salami to hit bats with. But.
That's a sentence. That's a sentence you say often. How do you beat a bat with a salami?
With a salami, yeah.
Gotcha.
Just Alf things.
Just Alf things. Well, as I said, Yeah,
It was interesting.
someone gave me Dragon's Lair for Game Boy Color, which is the arcade port. But
Mm-hmm.
like, in order to like beat Dragon's Lair in Game Boy Color, you have to memorize what buttons to press because there's no hotkey reaction on the screen at all. So you have to know, like, on a certain screen, you have to go left, right, up, and then press A or something. Like, you just have to know that. And it's just, and if you do the tutorial, it only gives you 5 stages. And the random five
Right.
stages. So you have to, like, if you want to like learn how to do it, you have to play the tutorial like 8 different times just to get to through the stages, and then play the main. Awful, awful. I did not have a good time. But like, out of all the raffle games I've played, that one was by far the worst. That was the one I was visibly not having fun playing. I was so frustrated playing that game. That one's going to go on a ban list the next time I do raffles. So,
Probably
um,
for the best.
yeah, it is only for the best. What else we got going on here? So I know we oops. So I know we talked about Speed Gaming Live earlier for the KDL qualifiers and all the tournaments they got going on. So Speed Gaming Live 2022 is it's going to be an in-person event at the at Herndon, Virginia, October 27th to the 30th. Submissions are open till September 28th till midnight. All systems and eras are accepted. The cool thing with Speed Gaming Live right now as well is that they're doing a ton of tournaments right now that are both mixed online and in person. So if you have any interest at all to participate in an online tournament, if you can't make it to Virginia, like me, right now the Kirby's Dream Land tournament is going through qualifier rounds. So if you do want to qualify for the online Kirby's Dream Land tournament, go check it out. There's plenty of other tournaments happening as well too. Like there's some Super Metroid, there's some randomizer ones. There is a plethora of tournaments happening right now in the qualifier stages. So definitely go check that out as well. I believe you can find that at like sglive.speedgaming.org/marathon or something like that. Or just go to their Twitter account. I'm sure Feasible has put something up on the Twitter. What else we got going on? I'm not to worry about AGDQ anytime soon. That's in January, so we got that going for us.
Mm-hmm.
Midsummer Speedfest is actually happening right now, I believe. Yeah. So if you're watching this, maybe after the show you can go hang out with them. But it'll be over by the time this recording goes out. Midwest Speedfest is my area where the people in the Midwest of America put together a week-long marathon for 2DCon, typically in the same venue as SGDQ. Super fun, in person. It's been hybrid for the last couple of years, but it's in person again fully. It's always a good time. I've ran Dreamland and a few other games for them in the past, and they've always treated me well. So, see here. If you're looking to help out with a marathon, I do know Power Up with Pride is looking for volunteers, whether it be for chat moderation, helping behind the scenes, tech work, and stuff like that. So, reach out to them if you're looking to help out with any type of marathon. Very cool cause, very cool group of people. I hang out with them religiously at GDQs. Super, super cool people. Beyond that, we'll have Tiny 10 stuff here coming up relatively soon. Mo has been putting out hints about the list, and the hints have been pretty fun to watch and read about. Some of them I don't even. I'm like I see the hint. I'm like I don't even know what this is towards. Like I helped make the list. I don't even know what this hint means. So
Yeah, I'm being super cryptic on purpose, of course, but it's a lot of fun seeing people trying to guess, like, what is that even?
It's been a good time to watch. And it's like, and every time someone gets something wrong that I read, I'm like, oh, that would be a decent game to put into the Tiny 10. So it's like, it's giving me ideas, too, for the next list. It's great. I love it. What else is there? I'm sure there's other marathons happening right now. I just don't know them all because there's 1,000 marathons always happening in the world. Um, yeah, if you ever want to figure out when a speed gaming marathon is happening, honestly, go check what's that site called? Ongus OENGUS.io. I guess this the new way people do like submissions and scheduling for marathons. They actually show a full calendar and stuff like that of things coming up. Like speed stuff for Charity 9 is apparently starting in 5 days. Pixels for People has open submissions right now. So like if you Speedy Fist, if you want Speedy Fist closes in a month. Speedy Fist Marathon, amazing. Make sure to submit Shaq Fu for it. I submitted Shaq Fu Game Boy for it, and we had a Shaq Fu block. It was glorious. If you ever want to play Shaq Fu on the Amiga, let me know. I know how to make it work now. It's great.
Oh no!
It's fantastic. I have officially now I've played every version of Shaq Fu in the world. And let me tell you what, the Amiga version is. If you like to wait, you would love the Amiga version. Because you have to load a new disc every fight. So if you ever want to learn the Shaq Fu Amiga version, just let me know. I'll help you out. So yeah, just check out that scheduling website. There's a bunch of speed gaming stuff on there. There's a bunch of marathons. Go check them out. I'm sure most of them are pretty cool. There's a lot of them I don't know, so because there's 1,000 of them in the world. Beyond that, I think that's really about it. Tiny 10 stuff. Keep your eyes out for Tiny 10 stuff. Mo's been throwing hints out here and there about the list. So if you're curious at all about the Tiny 10 and want to partake in the guessing game that's been happening right now in the Game Boy Discord, please join. It's been fun to watch and read, and I love sending out false vibes to people and make them think it's one game when it's really not. So that's been the best part. Like the most recent one's been great.
The last one I did, I do. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for this list. I'm really excited to reveal it when we get to that point. Because everyone's going to be like, "Oh my god!" Like,
yep.
It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with these hits.
Yeah, I like our theme as well too. Our theme is top notch. But yeah, that's it for really community stuff happening. Obviously, we've had some tech issues with the podcast, with Legs' laptop exploding, my internet not wanting to work, heat wave in Europe right now, so lots of things out of our hands, unfortunately. But we're making it work. We're pushing through. So sorry about any of the delays between episodes and whatnot. It's been a weird summer. Let's just say the least. It's been a very weird summer. For everyone, not just the podcast. So yeah. Anyway, do we have any questions that we need to answer?
We do not have any questions in our Discord.
Just chat.
Unless somebody in the chat has some question for us about the game or just in general about the podcast, please let us know. We'll wait a minute or two. I'll lower my blinds meanwhile.
If there's any sponsors in chat, let us know. We're looking to be sponsored. There's our pitch. There's our elevator pitch. We're looking to be sponsored. Please sponsor us. I don't know I don't know how sponsoring works, but someone figure it out for us, please.
Yeah, the bills are. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
No one knows what the hell is going on anymore.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to look into another hosting solution because their prices keep going up every year.
It's probably for the best.
I mean, not SoundCloud is great. It's the same price every year, so at
No,
least
yeah,
I know
no,
what to
SoundCloud's
expect there.
fine. Yeah,
It's
SoundCloud's
for
great.
the website it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, SoundCloud for the most part has been a really good home for us. Um, so I'm actually pretty happy with SoundCloud. Yeah, it's the website hosting that.
Yeah.
Who's the random guy that helps your character in the stage? Oh, the woman?
It's either Dana or it's Lewis.
Yeah, it's either Dana or Lewis. And can the guy gain health back? So that's where a little bit of the strategy comes in for this game. So like if your AI is about to die, you kind of want to hurry up and like find a new AI, because when you swap them, the new AI will have, if it's new, full HP or full lives, for that matter. If you drain them and go back to swap, the one that you swapped with will just continue with the normal HP health that you swapped it with. That's where a bit of the strategy kind of has to come into play as well too, where it's like, oh, your AI friend is getting beat down pretty hard. I need to flip them out or whatever it is. I believe you can flip out your beamer as well too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just you can't really tell what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. But usually, like if you get somebody, they either give you like a health up for either your beamer or your trapper, like,
Yeah.
or they switch out completely.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like I said, there's like the game is fun, but there is a bit of strategy involved with how you approach stuff as well. Like if you're just getting beat down like you do in the museum, then yeah. But yeah, Dana and Lewis, I don't believe really do anything at all. They're just there to be there.
Yeah, they give you something, but you can't play as them,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. It's not a hard, like it can be a hard game, but like 3 continues should be enough to get through the game. Now, if someone wants to speed run it, then well, it could be a lot faster than 45 minutes, but
Yeah, I assume like 20 or something.
yeah, I'm assuming like the ghost spawns are static, the stages are static. So,
They are, yeah.
so it wouldn't be too bad to route at least. The hardest part of the run would be controlling your AI.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, if there's no other questions, and if there's no sponsors in chat, we'll move on to the outro. So, our awesome scripted, never on the fly outro. If you have any thoughts, yeah, if you have any thoughts and suggestions for the podcast, for us as the host, or for Legs as the producer, you can let us know. We're available on multiple different platforms at this point: Discord, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You can message us in YouTube now as well, and obviously you can hang out in the RGL chat and talk to us through there.
Yeah, or in the RGL Discord because we have a channel there as well, basically.
Or the RGL Discord, or I mean, yeah, we're available everywhere at this point.
Yeah.
Don't ask for my phone number because I don't answer texts anyway, even if I know you. So I just don't answer texts. I probably have like 500 texts from friends. I just don't read them. So I just don't care. I'd rather live in solitude. But we're always looking to make the podcast better. We're always making the podcast fun. We're always looking to, keep up with the times and make sure that we're entertaining you all that are listening and or watching the podcast. So you can find me, eBloodyCandy, on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. Where can I find you, Mo?
You can find me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. That's all slash Moelle, which is Moelleuh, because still, I cannot just get Moelle, because somebody always has it. I don't know who he is, but yeah, it sucks.
You should go find him and kick him in the shins.
Yeah.
Then our wonderful producer, SprintingLegs. You can find SprintingLegs on Twitch and Twitter, Legs on YouTube, and then you can check out her project website, www.sprintinglegs.com, which is where the Game Boy manual database is also located, and the Game Boy speed conversion from Super Game Boy 1 to Super Game Boy 2. So you can go ahead and check that stuff out on her website. Sellout time. We have a Patreon if you wish to support the podcast monetarily. We have a Patreon. We're in the process of changing rewards and stuff like that, as we are doing live episodes now on Retro Gaming Live TV. So Mo and I are in the process of rethinking some of the tier rewards and just the overall monthly rewards and going through there. But some of the rewards you can look forward to, obviously, we have notes that you would be able to read, so you get to see all of the episode notes, bloopers, plenty of them. You also get premiere access to Mo and I's Haunt Hunter Let's Plays, which is every once in a while, I guess at this point.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we'll play through a horror game and upload it to YouTube. The most recent Haunt Hunter that got released was Fishing Vacation, which was a Game Boy styled game where you and your friend went to your friend's uncle's fishing cabin, and you went fishing, but it wasn't just a fishing trip. No, sir. Watch the video to learn more. I need more views. So that was the most recent one that got released, and the one before that, I don't even remember what was before that. The Bunker, which was a post-apocalyptic FLV, where you played as a guy that has been trapped in a underground bunker since the nuclear holocaust, and you have to either decide to leave the bunker or stay in the bunker, based off of decisions you make at the end. So, yeah. I don't even know what our next game's gonna be. Oh, I think I lost connection to Twitch. Well, this is fun. Well, I'm glad I made it 2 hours when my internet decided to shit out. So I'll just finish it out here, I guess. We'll edit it out. We have a Patreon where if you can support or if you want to support the podcast via money, Mo and I are in the process of changing out how the rewards work and all that fun stuff. So keep an eye on that. You have access to notes, bloopers, premieres for Haunt Hunters, and what else we got? PayPal. If subscription stuff ain't your thing, because everything in the world is subscription based now, we do have a PayPal. However, if you do use PayPal to support us, please let one of the three of us know. We want to thank you in any way possible. Also, we got merch. So merch.thisisgameboy.com. We have shirts and cups available. We're talking about adding another design, and I'm looking to think about adding some more merch into everything else. So, yeah. With that, obviously, money is not the only way to support the podcast. Just listening, watching, doing anything you can. Watching us on YouTube, listening to us on your favorite podcast station, watching the streams when we do them, hanging out in our Discord, just BSing with us is super support enough, and we always enjoy it and love talking with you all in Discord. All right, hi.
Hello.
I'm trying to reconnect to Twitch. No promises.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back on. There we go. I did it. Oh, man. I don't know how well this internet's going to work, but we'll figure it out, I guess.
Luckily, we're at the end.
Literally at the end of the podcast. Thank God it cut at the end of the podcast. Oh, my God. Thank God it cut at the end of the episode. Oh, Jesus. I did the whole closing spiel. Then I saw red in my OBS. I'm not dropping. Oh, I just lost internet. Okay. I was like, God damn it. I was just like, I just did the whole closing spiel and now I have to do it again.
Well, at least you recorded it, so it doesn't really.
Yeah, I suppose.
Whatever. Go watch an earlier episode or something if you're watching it.
Yeah, our outros are the same every episode. Every episode.
Yeah, I mean, nothing has changed really. We just say it differently, so whatever.
Oh God. All right. Well, let's hurry up and do this before I lose internet again. So.
Right.
All right. In the actual recording, I got all the way. We got all the way through the merch and talked about reviewing. I literally did the entire closing spiel before I realized I didn't have internet.
All right.
So, next, what's our next game, Mo?
Oh boy. All right, so this is a series we have not done yet at all. No, we have done, or have we?
No, we haven't done any Batman games.
No, we haven't. Well, this is another series we have never done before. And yes, this series does have some. It has a great game. It has a pretty decent game. But it also has kind of a stinker of a game. Because we usually always do the good ones.
Double Dragon.
We've done Double Dragon.
Right, we did the stinker one first.
Yeah, but now we're gonna do the stinker one of this series we haven't talked about yet. And it's gonna be Castlevania The Adventure.
Oh. I've been wanting to do
there is a lot to talk about.
I've
There is
been
a lot to
want
talk about.
I have been wanting to do a Castlevania episode for so long. Oh my god.
Yeah.
We should just do all
Uh,
three. Just Castlevania the Adventure on one episode, Legends on the second episode, and then Belmont's Revenge, which is by far the best of the three. That's the final episode.
yeah. Well, I mean, we are gonna do all of them, but yeah, let's definitely start off with Castlevania: The Adventure, the black sheep of the family. Even though
It was the first one.
canonically, Legends is the black sheep of the family, apparently for whatever reason. But yeah, let's talk about The Adventure, because there's a lot to talk about, because you have the original version, you have the Konami Collection version, and then you have Rebirth, which is so good, which is a remake. So yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about at least. So
And the ROM hack.
yeah, again, I'm not sure if the ROM hack is a ROM hack or just a version of the
Just
Konami
a better
collection.
better version of
Uh,
it.
I'll actually have to check that out, because it might just be a rip off that game off the collection. I don't know,
That's yeah.
or it's a hack. If it's a hack, even better, because that one is actually the best version of this game. So yeah, let's do that. We haven't done any
Perfect.
Castlevania yet.
Yeah, I
So.
like this. Especially we're getting close to Halloween as well too.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah, that is
Perfect.
the October episode. Yeah, that's actually
Yeah.
perfect. Yep, cool.
Sick. Alright, so yeah, next time you hear from Mo and I will be talking about Castlevania the Adventure and how fast that game is. Um so yeah. Until next time, thank you all for bearing with my internet issues again. Really glad it happened at the end of the episode. And have a fantastic rest of your Sunday.
Yeah. See you all later. Later, man.
Later.